Chosen one, listen closely. This is not just another message, not just another voice passing by in the noise of your day. This is a word meant to pierce through the clutter, a word that finds you exactly where you are, tired, stretched, misunderstood, but still standing. You didn't stumble here by accident. You were led here because heaven wanted you to know. You are untouchable. They tried, they plotted, they whispered, but God has built a fence around your life, and no force of darkness can breach it. Think about how many times you should have been taken out. How many nights the enemy thought he had you cornered. How many plans were designed in secret to dismantle your peace, your purpose, your very existence. And yet here you are, breathing, listening, rising. That is no coincidence. That is the evidence of divine protection. You are rare. You carry something on your life that others can't explain. Some people sense it the moment you walk into a room. Others are unsettled by it, though they can't quite put their finger on why. What they don't realize is that heaven marked you long before earth ever knew your name. There is a covering, a hedge, a fence, built not by human hands but by the very one who spoke the stars into being. And because of that fence, attacks that were supposed to finish you ended up elevating you. Words that were meant to break you became fuel to strengthen you. You have been shielded from battles you didn't even know were raging in the unseen. Right now, as you listen, there are things trying to touch you that cannot get through. You don't see it all, but the fence is working. Here's the truth. Your life is proof that divine protection is real. You may have scars, but you're still here. You may have faced storms, but the flood didn't wash you away. And while others wonder how you keep surviving, you know deep down it's because something greater is holding you. But stay with me, because what I'm about to share goes deeper. This fence is not just about survival, it's about positioning. It's about preparation. God didn't build it just to keep harm out. He built it to set you apart, to shape you for what's coming. And when I tell you what's ahead, it will make sense why the fence had to be there all along. That fence around your life is not man-made, and it is not fragile. It is the work of a God who saw every scheme before it was conceived, every trap before it was laid, every tongue before it spoke against you. You are not protected by chance. You are protected by covenant. When God declares his hand upon someone, when he sets a boundary in the spirit, there is no power strong enough to cross it. Remember the story of Job, how even Satan had to admit that a hedge surrounded him, a divine barrier he could not penetrate without permission. That same reality exists around you, whether you've been aware of it or not. Heaven has been busy securing your borders, placing angels on guard, ensuring that your destiny would not be cut short. This is not about favoritism. This is about purpose. God does not waste protection on empty vessels. He preserves what he intends to use. And if you're still breathing, still walking, still listening right now, it means he has an assignment stamped on your life that hell itself cannot erase. You've been through enough to know this already. Haven't you noticed how some people tried to sabotage you, but their plans collapsed? Haven't you wondered why accidents were avoided at the very last second? Haven't you shaken your head at moments when you realized you were spared from something you didn't even see coming? That was not coincidence. That was the fence. That was God reminding you, what I have sealed, no man can unseal. What I have blessed, no curse can reverse. Main, and here's what you need to grasp. The fence is not just around your physical life, it surrounds your mind, your heart, your calling. That's why you couldn't lose your faith, even when you tried to walk away. That's why the fire of purpose kept rekindling inside you, even after disappointment. That's why, though people tried to mislabel you, deep down you knew their words would never define you. The fence was guarding not just your body, but your identity. The one who built this fence is not a distant deity, not a silent observer. He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. He is the God who called Moses through fire, who parted seas for Israel, who shut the mouths of lions for Daniel. And he is the same God who has encircled you. His voice echoes through every season of your life, declaring, "This one is mine. This one is covered. This one is destined." You need to understand the weight of that truth. You are not drifting. You are not barely making it. You are in the center of a divine strategy, and if God himself has drawn the line, then no enemy can cross it. What I'm telling you now is only the beginning, because soon, the reason for this level of protection will come into full light. The fence is not just a defense, it's a signpost pointing to a prophecy. And that prophecy is about to be unveiled. You've been wondering why the resistance has been so strong, why the pressure has been relentless. why it feels like forces you cannot see have been circling you. The truth is, they are not circling at random. They are circling because they have caught wind of what heaven already declared. There is a prophecy hanging over your life, and that prophecy is the reason the fence was built. The enemy is not after your past. He is terrified of your future. He does not fight what is empty, he fights what is pregnant with promise. And whether you feel it fully or not, your life is carrying something heaven-breathed, something weighty, something that cannot be touched until its appointed time. That's why God set a hedge about you, because what you carry is not ordinary. The prophecy is this: there is a season ahead where your voice, your presence, your very existence will break chains in ways you never thought possible. It will not be about titles, not about stages, not about recognition. It will be about impact. You will walk into places, and atmospheres will shift. You will speak words that sound simple, yet they will carry divine authority that unsettles darkness. You will lay your hands on what looks broken, and watch it begin to mend. But understand this: the prophecy is not just about what you will do, it is about who you are becoming. You are being forged into someone who cannot be shaken. Every storm you've survived, every betrayal you've endured, every tear you've cried, it was all preparation. Not punishment, preparation. The fence was not there to isolate you. It was there to incubate you. Like a seed buried in the soil, you have been hidden, surrounded, preserved. But the time of hiddenness is drawing to a close. Can you feel it? The stirring inside your spirit that says more is coming? That's not imagination. That's prophecy awakening. The fence has kept you alive long enough for this moment to arrive. And when heaven says it's time, no devil in hell can delay it. The prophecy declares that what tried to bury you will become the soil from which you rise. The words spoken against you will be overturned by the words spoken over you. Where others saw limitation, God saw a launch pad. The very things that were designed to diminish you will become the testimony that multiplies you. There is an image you need to hold in your mind. Picture a lion pacing on the outskirts of a fence, roaring, clawing, trying to intimidate what's inside. That lion is the adversary. He's loud, he's persistent, but he cannot enter. Now picture yourself inside that fence, not cowering, but growing stronger. Every roar that tried to weaken you has only trained your ears to recognize the counterfeit. Every attempt to strike has only built your discernment. You are no longer who you were. The fence has not just kept you safe. It has been transforming you into someone who will one day step out with unshakable authority. The prophecy unveils this. There is a moment fast approaching when the fence will no longer feel like a boundary, but like a platform. God has not just kept you, He has positioned you, and when the appointed time comes, He will open the gate Himself. And what has been cultivated in secret will burst forth in power. But let me tell you plainly, when this gate swings open, you will not walk out timid. You will walk out like one who has been refined, like one who carries scars that tell a story but not a stench of defeat. And the world will have no choice but to see the hand of God upon your life. The prophecy is not a dream floating in the clouds. It is a reality already spoken in heaven, already written in eternity's script. And because God has spoken it, the fence has ensured it will come to pass. Hold this close. What is ahead will not look like survival, it will look like fulfillment. And the moment you step into it, everything you've endured will finally make sense. Think about this. If all God wanted was to keep you safe, He could have hidden you forever. He could have locked you away from every conflict, every wound, every betrayal. But that's not what He did. Instead, He allowed storms to rage around you while keeping the center of your being intact. Why? Because the fence is not just about protection, it's about transformation. Every trial you faced has carried meaning beyond the surface. Every season of silence, every period of delay, every moment you felt overlooked was a thread in a divine tapestry. From where you stand, the pattern may look scattered, but from heaven's view, it is deliberate. The fence has been shaping you, not just shielding you. Think of gold in the fire. It doesn't lose its value in the flames. It reveals its purity. In the same way, your life has been refined. The heat of trials did not consume you, it clarified you. People may have looked at your life and thought you were finished, but what they couldn't see was that God was purging the impurities, burning off the doubts, stripping away everything that couldn't carry the weight of your calling. That's the spiritual meaning of the fence. It's not just a wall that keeps things out. It's a crucible that prepares what's inside. While the enemy was pacing, you were being processed. While the world thought you were stalled, Heaven was calling it strategy. There is also something about seasons you must understand. Nature itself preaches this truth. Winter looks barren, but it preserves the roots. Spring awakens what was hidden. Summer brings growth. Autumn releases what is no longer needed. In the same way, the fence has marked your seasons. There were times you felt cut off, unable to bloom, unsure of why life felt cold and isolated. But in that winter season, God was strengthening your roots. Without it, you would not have survived the winds that were coming. And here is the paradox. What looked like isolation was actually insulation. What felt like delay was divine timing. The fence meant that your growth was not public but private. God was more concerned with your foundation than your presentation. Because if the foundation is not strong, the structure collapses. And your assignment is too important for collapse. The deeper meaning also lies in trust. The fence teaches surrender. You didn't choose where it was built. You didn't decide who could come in and who had to stay out. God drew the lines. And in that, He trained you to trust Him with relationships, with opportunities, with direction. Every door that stayed closed, every person who couldn't get near you, every opportunity that slipped away, it was all part of the fencing. You thought you were being rejected, but you were being redirected. Here's another truth. Fences don't just keep enemies out, they keep treasures in. Farmers fence their land not because they hate the field, but because they value what grows there. In the same way, Heaven fenced you in because you are carrying treasure. The anointing on your life, the calling in your spirit, the gifts planted in your soul, these are priceless. And God refused to let them be trampled before they reached maturity. You've probably felt that tension, the frustration of knowing there's more inside you but feeling restrained. That's the fence at work. Not punishment, but preservation. Because premature exposure destroys destiny. If fruit is picked before it's ripe, it spoils quickly. God wanted you to ripen in secret so that when you are revealed, the world cannot deny the fullness of what you carry. And now, you're beginning to see why the fence was never weakness, it was wisdom. You were not abandoned. You were being cultivated. You were not forgotten. You were being fortified. You were not restricted. You were being readied. Every metaphor points back to this. The fence is love in disguise. A storm could have taken you, but love said no. A betrayal could have crushed you, but love lifted you. A failure could have defined you, but love rewrote your story. That's why the fence is holy. It's God Himself wrapping His presence around you like fire around Elijah, like walls around Jerusalem, like wings around a fragile bird. So when you feel pressed, remember this. The fence is proof that your destiny is bigger than the pressure. The fence is proof that your story is not over. The fence is proof that God's hand is still on you, guiding, protecting, and preparing. And soon, very soon, that preparation will reveal itself in ways you never imagined. Because fences don't last forever. They last for seasons. And your season of unveiling is drawing near. You may be asking, how do I know this word is truly for me? How do I know the fence is real, that the prophecy is unfolding? The answer lies in the signs, those subtle whispers of heaven that have already been appearing around you. You may not have called them signs, but deep down you felt their weight. Let me bring them into the light for you. First, notice how often you have been preserved without explanation. There were accidents that should have happened but didn't. There were relationships that should have destroyed you but somehow unraveled before they could. You can recall moments where you walked away saying, I don't know how I made it through. That's sign number one. Preservation against the odds. The fence has been doing its work. Second, there is the growing awareness that your spirit is more sensitive than ever. You've felt tension in rooms without a word being spoken. You've sensed when someone's smile was hiding malice. You've walked into spaces and immediately knew something was off. That discernment is not paranoia, it's prophecy in motion. The fence heightens your sensitivity so you know what doesn't belong near you. Third, pay attention to the separation that's been happening in your life. People you thought were permanent have drifted. Opportunities you thought were secure have slipped away. It may have hurt, but it was strategic. God has been removing what cannot be part of your next chapter. And though you may have cried over the exits, the truth is, those exits were confirmations of the fence keeping your circle pure. Fourth, look at the strange favor you carry. Even in times of struggle, doors have opened unexpectedly. Someone spoke your name in rooms you never entered. Help came from places you didn't even know existed. You were remembered when you should have been forgotten. That is not luck. That is divine favor slipping through the cracks of the fence, reminding you that God has not left you. Fifth, there's the sense of divine timing you've been feeling. You keep waking up with the thought that something is about to shift. You can't explain it, but it's almost as if your spirit knows change is at the door. That inner stirring is not wishful thinking, it is heaven's alarm clock, nudging you to get ready. And finally, there's the peace that never fully left you. Even when chaos swirled, even when tears soaked your pillow, there was always a quiet reassurance inside. You will make it. This is not the end. That peace is the strongest confirmation of all, because it's the voice of the one who built the fence speaking within you. So when you wonder if this word is yours, look back at these signs. You've lived them. You've felt them. They have been God's way of whispering, you are covered, you are guided, and you are being prepared. How? These signs are not random. They are the markers of prophecy unfolding. And the more you recognize them, the more confidence you will walk in. Because if God has been speaking through the signs, then surely he will bring the promise to pass. But let me be honest with you, prophecy never unfolds without resistance. If the signs confirm that heaven is with you, the challenges confirm that hell knows it too. And while the fence protects you, it doesn't mean you won't feel the pressure of what presses against it. You will sense the weight of attacks, even when they cannot reach your core. These are the hidden challenges, and you need to be aware of them so they do not take you by surprise. The first challenge is isolation. The fence that protects you can sometimes feel like a prison. There will be seasons when you feel cut off, misunderstood, unable to explain why you can't walk where others walk. You may feel lonely, watching others move freely while you sense unseen boundaries around your steps. But understand this, isolation is not rejection, it is incubation. You are not being punished, you are being preserved. The second challenge is spiritual fatigue. There will be moments when you grow tired of holding on, tired of believing, tired of waiting. You may feel like the constant warfare has drained you. You may wonder if you have the strength to continue. But remember, fatigue is not failure. It is simply the signal that you must lean deeper into God's strength, because your own was never meant to carry the weight of your destiny. The third challenge comes in the form of opposition, from unexpected places. Sometimes, it will not be strangers who test you. It will be those close to you. Friends who suddenly shift, family who don't understand, voices you trusted that now criticize or doubt. It hurts more because it comes from those you thought would cheer for you. But don't forget, the fence keeps them from destroying you, even if their words sting. Their doubt cannot derail what God has ordained. The fourth challenge is delay. There will be times you question the timing of God. You will look at others moving forward while you feel restrained. You will ask, why not now? Why not me? Delay is a hard test because it tempts you to settle for less, to step outside the fence prematurely. But hear me, delay is not denial. The waiting is shaping you for a weight you could not have carried too soon. And finally, there is the challenge of unseen warfare. You may not see it, but there are spiritual battles raging on your behalf. Night terrors, sudden anxiety, waves of heaviness, these are not random. They are attempts of the enemy to intimidate you into retreat. Yet even here, the fence holds. The attacks may touch your atmosphere, but they cannot touch your assignment. Understand this. Hidden challenges are part of the process. They do not mean you are failing. They mean you are on track. If you were not dangerous to darkness, you would not be fought this hard. And every challenge is another confirmation that what God has spoken is real. So don't despise the struggle. Don't curse the waiting. Don't resent the isolation. These hidden challenges are training you to stand unshaken, to trust deeper, to recognize your strength is not your own. They are reminders that the prophecy over your life is weighty enough to require resistance, and that resistance is only sharpening you for the day the fence gives way to fulfillment. Now that you understand the hidden challenges, you must also understand the instructions. Because prophecy is not automatic, it requires alignment. God has built the fence, yes, but your responsibility is to stay within his covering, to position yourself so that when the gate opens, you are ready to walk through. These instructions are not meant to burden you, they are meant to empower you. They are the blueprint that ensures you don't just survive this season, but thrive in it. The first instruction is this: guard your atmosphere. Not everyone should have access to your spirit. Just as the fence keeps enemies out, you must also be intentional about who and what you allow near you. Be mindful of conversations that drain your faith, entertainment that weakens your spirit, and environments that cloud your discernment. If you want to carry the weight of destiny, you must be ruthless about your atmosphere. The second instruction: strengthen your prayer life. You've been preserved not because you are strong, but because heaven has been sustaining you, and prayer is the key that keeps that connection alive. This is not about long, repetitive words. It is about consistency and authenticity. Speak to God daily, even in short whispers, and you will find your strength renewed. When your prayer becomes a rhythm, your spirit becomes unshakable. The third instruction is to steward your gifts. What God placed inside you is not meant to stay dormant. Begin to sharpen what you carry. Read, learn, practice, create. Step into small opportunities with excellence, even if they seem insignificant. David killed lions and bears in private, long before he stood before Goliath. What you do in secret will prepare you for what you will do in the open. Fourth, embrace obedience, even in small things. Sometimes God will test you with instructions that seem minor, helping someone in need, forgiving someone who wronged you, saying no when your flesh says yes. These small acts of obedience are bricks in the foundation of your destiny. Do not underestimate them. The greater the calling, the stricter the training. Fifth, protect your peace. The enemy cannot touch your assignment, but he will try to disturb your mind. Refuse to live in constant anxiety. Refuse to let bitterness lodge in your heart. Practice silence when provoked. Choose gratitude when tempted to complain. Peace is not passive, it is warfare. And when you choose peace, you disarm the enemy's tactics. Sixth, stay ready for sudden movement. One thing about God is that he does not always warn before he shifts. The gate that feels locked today can swing open tomorrow. That's why you cannot afford to be unprepared. Keep your heart pure, your hands diligent, your faith sharp. When the opportunity comes, it will be too late to start preparing. You must already be ready. And finally, trust his timing. This is perhaps the hardest instruction of all, because waiting is uncomfortable. But your waiting is holy. The fence will not stay closed a second longer than necessary. The same God who built it knows exactly when to open it. Your job is not to force the gate, but to trust the keeper. Each of these instructions is a sacred charge, a divine roadmap for this season. Ignore them, and the waiting will feel unbearable. Follow them, and you will find yourself growing stronger even in the in-between. Do not take this lightly. Heaven has chosen you for something weighty, and your preparation is not optional, it is required. Every day you follow these steps, you align yourself closer to destiny. Every act of obedience places you in position. Every moment of trust declares, I am ready. This is the time to rise in discipline. This is the time to deepen your root. This is the time to build your inner man, so that when the outer world shifts, you stand firm. Because when the gate opens, it will not just be a step forward, it will be a launch. And you will need everything God has been training you for to handle the blessing he is about to release. After receiving such instructions, it's natural for your heart to feel the weight of responsibility. But let me remind you, though you are called to prepare, you are not carrying this journey alone. The same God who set the fence around your life has also filled it with his presence. Protection is not just a concept, it is a living reality surrounding you right now. Even when you sleep, his watch does not end. The word says, he who keeps Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. That means, while your eyes are closed, his are wide open. While your strength fades, his strength sustains. Every unseen danger that tried to creep near was stopped before it could reach you. You did not survive on instinct, you survived because heaven stood guard. Picture this: walls of fire encircling you, not fragile wood or stone, but divine flame. To the enemy, you look untouchable. He may roar, he may circle, he may plot, but every time he lunges, the fire pushes him back. That's the reality of the fence. It is not just a boundary of protection, it is a manifestation of God's presence. Where his presence is, nothing unclean can remain. And this assurance goes deeper than physical safety. It covers your mind. Think of how many nights the enemy tried to torment you with fear, doubt, or despair. Yet here you are, still clothed in your right mind. That's protection. Think of how many attacks were aimed at your heart: betrayals, rejections, disappointments, yet somehow your spirit still chooses to love, to hope, to believe. That's protection. This protection is also generational. Do not underestimate the fact that your obedience is building a shield not only for you but for those connected to you. Children, siblings, even friends who don't yet understand because you are covered. They too experience overflow. Your hedge is not just personal, it is territorial. And perhaps the most comforting assurance of all is this: God is not reactionary. He is proactive. He did not wait for the enemy to move before he built your fence. He saw every scheme before it was conceived, and he already prepared your defense. That means you don't have to live in constant fear of what's next. What's next has already been factored into the plan. So rest, not in complacency, but in confidence. Rest knowing that the fight is not yours alone. Rest knowing that your name is spoken in heavenly places, that angels are assigned to your steps, that the keeper of your soul is not negligent but near. When doubt whispers, remember, the fence is proof. When fear rises, remember, the fire still burns. When the enemy taunts, remember, heaven has the final word. You are not exposed. You are not vulnerable. You are not forgotten. You are covered. You are guarded. You are protected. And nothing, no weapon, no word, no scheme can touch what God has sealed. All of this protection, all of this preparation, all of this waiting, it has been leading you to a moment of transformation. You were not meant to stay hidden forever. The fence was for a season, not a lifetime. And soon you will step out of it not as the same person who went in, but as someone utterly changed. Think about a caterpillar inside a cocoon. To the outside world, it looks trapped, even lifeless. But within that hidden place, transformation is taking place. By the time the cocoon opens, what emerges is unrecognizable compared to what entered. That is your story. You have been in your cocoon season, pressed, stretched, reshaped. And when the gate swings open, you will spread wings that were being formed all along. This transformation is not merely personal, it is prophetic. The scars you carry will shine as testimonies. The storms you endured will become sermons without words. The people who counted you out will have no choice but to witness your unveiling. And you will not have to prove yourself, your fruit will speak louder than explanations. But the fulfillment is more than vindication. It is expansion. God is not just restoring what was lost, He is multiplying what remains. Relationships healed, doors opening, influence growing, not for your ego, but for His glory. You will find yourself walking into spaces you once only dreamed of, not because you forced your way in, but because destiny has now aligned with timing. The greatest transformation, however, is inward. You will feel lighter not because the battles didn't happen, but because they no longer define you. You will walk with a peace that can't be shaken, a confidence that doesn't need applause, a faith that sees beyond appearances. What once intimidated you will now look small. What once wounded you will no longer sting. That is the evidence of fulfillment, the power to live free. And as this unfolds, your life will become a signpost for others. People will look at you and see what it means to endure and still rise. They will see resilience clothed in grace. They will see victory written on someone who was once counted out. Your testimony will become a mirror, showing them that if God could bring you through, He can do the same for them. This is the moment heaven has been preparing you for, not survival but significance, not hiding but shining, not fear but freedom. The fence kept you safe, but the fulfillment will set you loose. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine it. Walking through the open gate, stepping into spaces that once felt impossible, carrying wisdom, strength, and authority you didn't even know you had. Imagine the joy of realizing that every tear was worth it, every battle was training, every delay was divine alignment. Imagine hearing heaven whisper, "This is the moment we built the fence for. This is the moment you were born for." That's where you're headed. Transformation that cannot be undone, fulfillment that cannot be denied. A life that carries the fragrance of victory, not because you fought alone, but because God fought for you. And when you reach that point, you will finally see it clearly. The fence was never your limitation. It was your preparation. And fulfillment was always the destination. Take a deep breath and let this truth settle in. You are covered, you are prepared, and you are about to walk into fulfillment. The fence was not meant to hold you back, it was meant to hold you together until the moment of release. And that moment is closer than you think. But before you step forward, I want to leave you with words you can carry, words you can speak over yourself when the nights feel long and the doubts return. These are not just affirmations, they are declarations of faith. Weapons of the Spirit, reminders of who you are and whose you are. Speak them boldly, even when your voice trembles. I am surrounded by God's protection, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper. 2. I am set apart, preserved for a divine purpose that cannot be stolen or destroyed. 3. I walk in peace, strength, and confidence, knowing heaven fights for me. 4. My life is aligned with God's timing, and every delay is preparing me for greater. Let these affirmations become your rhythm. Say them when you wake up, whisper them before you sleep, declare them when you feel pressure rising. They are not just words, they are spiritual anchors. Now hear this blessing. May the fire of God's presence remain your fence. May His angels stand as sentinels on every side. May your heart be steadied by peace that surpasses understanding, and may your spirit remain unshaken by storms that come and go. May every hidden challenge become a stepping stone. May every scar shine as proof of His faithfulness. May every delay give way to divine acceleration in the right moment. And may your unveiling be so radiant that even those who doubted you will recognize the hand of God on your life. You are walking into a new chapter, not timidly, not in fear, but with the assurance that heaven has gone before you. The gate is opening, the timing is aligning, and the world is about to see what God has been cultivating in secret. So rise with confidence, speak with authority, walk with purpose. You are fenced in by love, carried by grace, and propelled by destiny. This word is sealed over you, not by human will, but by divine decree. It will not return void. It will accomplish exactly what heaven has spoken. And you, covered one, called one, chosen one, you will see it come to pass. Go in peace, go in strength, go in faith. The fence is still standing, and so are you.